Good afternoon, KHM agents and agents around the globe. We are so happy that you are here to join us for KHM Today, your weekly go-to resource for industry news and straight up fun. I am your host, Carolyn Orff, and today is September 22nd, and it is the first day of fall, and it is sweater weather, and it is just a magnificent day. And guess what else it is, you guys? It is National Hobbit Day, the day of celebration where we celebrate Bilbo and Frodo Baggins. I know you're shaking your head right now saying, really? Yes, this is a day of celebration. People who are huge fans celebrate with parties, Hobbit-inspired food, and they walk around barefoot, which now that one I can do. So anyways, we're going to do a few Hobbit-inspired things today. I know it's crazy. We're going to make a cocktail inspired by Gandalf, who I know is not a Hobbit, but it's the closest I could get. We have special guest Lorri Cohn here from Shore Excursion Group, and I wonder if they have something Hobbit inspired in New Zealand. Matt's Compass is back, and our newest team member, Wanda Thomas, is here with What Would Wanda Do? WWW. So before we get to these fantastic guests, let's welcome to the show Carolyn, Sekerak, and Sarah Yoder, two amazing women with the KHM marketing team. And for their segment, it's Market Smart segment, sharing is caring, because it is. Hi, you guys. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
We are having a wonderful day. It is the first day of fall. So let's just start with last week was National Cleanup Day, and KHM had a couple teams out there cleaning up different shires. See what I did there? Throughout the city. Sarah, why don't you start and tell us a little bit about how the event went?
Yeah, so Saturday was National Cleanup Day, and being part of KHM Cares, I decided to take it upon myself to host this initiative. And so we did 3 parks in Northeast Ohio, one in North Royalton, one in Brunswick, where our home office is, and then one in by the lake, which Carolyn was lead of. And, you know, we had some team members come out. We had an agent come out that was really cool that lived close by. We cleaned up our shire, you know, around the park, but it didn't take much. The parks were really clean already, but, you know, we just went there and touched them up a little bit and made the world a little cleaner. So, yeah, it was a great Saturday.
Awesome. So, Carolyn, one of the things that agents are constantly thinking about and asking about is ways to attract new clients, and aligning yourself with a nonprofit or an organization that you care about is one way to do that, right?
Yeah, so by aligning yourself with a cause that you're passionate about, or even a charitable event, you're sure to meet new people. You'll gain media exposure. The media loves covering feel-good segments like charities that are trying to raise money for important causes. You might even get some low-cost advertising that you wouldn't have had otherwise, and that could give you an opportunity to showcase your brand and your service as a travel planner in front of a new audience.
It's so important to pick something that you're passionate about, right? I mean, not just anything, just like travel. We want to sell what we're passionate about. So I feel like when you go this route, it needs to be something that you truly care about.
Yeah, that's true, because you want to be authentic. You don't want to use it as an opportunity just for the publicity. So for example, Carolyn, you have children who have been involved over the years, I'm sure, in many activities at your high school. So if you sponsor one of the sports teams fundraisers or the band or theater, you know, that could put you in front of families, and you could get an ad in the program book or your logo up on the football field. And, you know, you just want to subtly put that message out there that when they plan their next summer or spring break trip or their Disney booking, you know, that they think of you. You could wear your logo to the events, like your apparel. You could always be sure to have business cards with you. Travel just also makes a really great conversation starter. So if you're at that event and you're representing the organization and maybe you don't know anyone, it's just great to strike up a conversation around what you do, where you have been recently, where you want to go. You know, Sarah handles our social media at KHM, so she can share a little bit about how we have shared about our own charitable events and our involvement, just as a way to get publicity online.
Yeah, so Go ahead,
Oh, I
Carolyn.
was just going to say, Sarah's the queen of hashtags. So that's one way that we want to make sure that we're promoting ourselves online.
Right. If you've seen some of our Market Smart segments before, you know about hashtags and how important they are, especially to Instagram, for other people to see you. So, you know, if you're involved with a charitable initiative, I would encourage you to tag the, you know, the big organization, your organization, and then tag, you know, your location and volunteering or Northeast Ohio like we did, so that other people in Northeast Ohio will see, oh, hey, today's National Cleanup Day, maybe I can be a part of that too, and see your company name here and there. So, and it's also great to have your company name tied with something that is charitable, because it just makes you look like a caring person and really aligns with your core values. So keep that in mind when you're sharing. And yeah, and make sure you tag your location too.
Great. So there is another KHM Cares event coming up. It's already started. Would you share a little bit about that with our agents?
Yeah, so Sarah headed up this last event, which was a big success, the National Cleanup Day. You know, what I took away from that is just anyone can clean up. Just grab some gloves and a trash bag and clean up your world. But our next event is coming up actually in alignment with our KHM Together Again event in October. We have 150 agents attending the event. And we wanted to really make an impact locally. You know, we're bringing travel advisors to town, and we want to just let them know that there is a need with winter approaching for brand new children's mittens, gloves, hats. So we're doing a winter accessory drive in partnership with a local nonprofit, Shoes and Clothes for Kids. And there are a bunch of different ways you can get involved if you're coming to the event or if you're not. So of course, event attendees can bring anything brand new and drop it off, and we'll be there to greet you with a smile and say thank you. You know, you can take a picture as you're dropping it off and just share what you do. But if you want to participate from home, we're going to share a couple links. We have an Amazon charity wish list that is basically a way for you to shop on Amazon, and the donations, the donated items that the organization has chosen will go directly to the organization. So I think there's amounts everywhere from like $12.99 up to like $150. So even if you can buy, you know, just one winter accessory set, that will be really helpful to the organization, because they're trying to give out 3,000 new coats this winter to children in need. You can also visit our online campaign page to make a cash donation, make your cash go further, and the nonprofit, you know, can buy that tax-free with their buying power. They can probably buy more mittens than you or I ever could for pennies on the dollar. Or if you want to take it further, like our one agent, Elizabeth Westman of Westman Travel did, you can sign up to become a champion. And what that is you would start your own collection drive through the website. So through our online campaign, you would click become a champion, and then you can set a goal amount. You can promote that on your social media page, promote that to your friends and family, and just say, hey, this is something I'm doing as we head into the holiday season. I'd love for you to be a part of it. Make it fun, you know, ask your clients to make a $10 donation if they book a trip or something like that. I mean, when you're buying a vacation, an extra $10 doesn't seem like that much, but it can go really far. So yeah, Sarah and I will both be sharing more in the coming months about how you can get involved and make it a positive impact through KHM Cares. This might be the first time you're hearing about it, but she and I have both been involved from the start, and it's been a great thing for our team members to be a part of in Brunswick, but we're excited to expand it, you know, and come up with new ways for agents to be involved as well.
That's awesome. You guys, thank you so much for being here. And we do want to mention that your segment today was sponsored by Regent Seven Seas, the ultra luxury all-inclusive cruise line. So thank you both for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for including us.
Yes, nice seeing you.
We know that in October, we are going to be passing off a lot of gloves, mittens, jackets, and money to this worthwhile cause. So thanks so much, everyone. All right, I'm excited to welcome our next guest. Our newest team member from the education team, Wanda Thomas, is here to answer the question, what would Wanda do? Wanda, welcome.
Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody today?
Well, I am great. It's fall. It's Hobbit Day. Does it get any better?
Not at all. I like a little cool weather myself.
So this segment is sponsored by Disney Destinations, celebrating 50 magical years beginning in October. So Wanda, we have a scenario for you that we're going to ask you to listen to and then respond to with what you would do. And I think this is a challenge these days. So, but I know you're up for it. So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Wanda always has an opinion, so hit me with it.
Good. Okay. So here's your scenario. We have an agent who got a call from someone she hadn't worked with before, who had booked their river cruise through another source, not an agent, another source. So they had also booked their own air using points and some pre-cruise hotel nights using points as well. They asked you to do a little bit of land, a hotel here and there, and some train for pre and post. You decide to do it, or she decided to do it in the hopes that they book their next river cruise with her. So as we know, protocols are changing in this. Of course, river cruise is happening in Europe. So they're constantly changing. Entry and exit requirements are changing. So based on this scenario, you've booked a few pieces, but when you look at the big picture, you've booked very little of it. Where do you feel your job starts and stops in this scenario?
Woo, that's a tough one. I have to say also, just as you alluded to, thinking about the location, going to Europe and all those moving pieces, I think at first my head would probably start to spin a little bit, trying to, kind of connect the dots and see where everything is, because quite naturally, you have no idea what the ancillary bookings, the support they have, what they've been told, so forth and so on. You have no idea. So I think that what I would have to do is probably look at it from how I was raised. Mom said, you treat others as you would like to be treated, and you treat people like guests in your home. So you go above and beyond the call of duty per se. So thinking about that, I would want to make sure I have asked appropriate questions to identify what information have they received thus far, kind of reinforce several pieces of the information that they have or have not received. Definitely, as we talk about these entry requirements, the COVID tests, and all these different things that take place, making sure that they were aware of all of those particular pieces. So another way I'll say that, I'd like to start at the beginning. I mean, I really would, because, the way I look at it is, even if they booked these pieces themselves, as we all know, in some scenarios, probably not going to get a whole lot of extra support from other entities, possibly, if there were something that took place. So, with them creating this personal relationship with you, I would imagine that the first call they're going to make is to you, regardless of what portion you did.
Yes. So, I think you're right.
So I would want to make sure to kind of start from the beginning and get as much information as I possibly can about what they've already done, and do my best to fill in the gaps. I think disclosure is, the key component here on everything, as, I think that anyone would allude to, there's several pieces that you brought to my table that I really wasn't involved in. I'm not sure what you've been, informed of, but there's a lot of moving pieces that we're working with here. And especially in the time that we're in with all the different requirements, most people think about the entry requirements into the country, but not to forget that even within the country, in some cases, to get into the museum, to get into, the aquarium, whatever you're going to from an excursion standpoint, sometimes there's another test that needs to be taken along with that. And there's a lot of detail that would go in that. So I definitely want to start from the beginning, ask all those questions, make sure to try to fill in the gaps the best I could. I think as a final statement, even though I say, we take it from the standpoint of, treating them like a guest in our home, and definitely it's more costly to gain a new customer. So if we can get them on board and they find out how great we are, we definitely want to keep them on. So especially with the river cruise, that's quite a good bit of commission there.
Yes.
So those are things we want to definitely do, but also from the standpoint of just thinking about our responsibility as agents. A lot of people don't realize that what does it mean to be an agent for your client? we have a strong duty to perform for our clients, a strong duty to do what's in their best interest. And so all of those things need to come to mind as we think about it, owning our business and being an agent. I mean, we become a very responsible, accountable party in that interaction, regardless of what portion we actually did. So again, I'd like to start from the beginning and try to fill the gaps as much as I possibly can, along with a number of disclosures.
So, right. And so I think, it's so funny because that's exactly what I would say about this situation. As challenging as it is mentally to say, I feel responsible for every piece of this, even though I didn't book it. And then, we talked about this yesterday, taking it one step further and asking for that future business and
Yes.
saying, in the future, I would like you to know that I want to book all of these pieces for you,
Yes.
not just these ones.
Absolutely.
And even so far as I will require to book all of these pieces for you. Don't be afraid to ask for that future business. And if you've done your job, they should be willing to give that to you.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that we were on the same page there. But I will tell you, mentally, I feel like that's a hard one right now to kind of wrap your head around and make sure that all of these pieces are in place,
Absolutely.
regardless of who booked them. So
exactly, because there's so many moving pieces in any of our travel these days, and there's things that are details that really the average person is not going to think of. We're dealing with it every day, so it's so important that we make sure we bring those things forward. We're doing a disservice to our clients if we're not providing that higher level of service. And as you said, more important than not is asking for that business follow up, follow through. I think I was talking to someone in another industry recently, and one of the comments they made was the fact that they found that in their talking with other individuals, they found the gap was follow up, follow through, and asking for the business. Just because you lay that proposal out there, you lay that work out there, you got to ask for this business and the repeat business. Again, you want to retain the client.
Well, and they might not know that you do this, right?
Absolutely.
They might think that you only do part A, that you don't actually do part B. So, again, that education piece and letting people know what it is and you do and how you do it is important.
Absolutely. Communication is always the key.
Thank you so much, Wanda. I know you're going to be back for more WWW in the future.
You know it. I'm here.
Not wrestling.
Hey, I might could do that too.
Thank you so much. You have a great rest of your day.
You do the same. Thanks so much.
You guys, so these instances pop up all the time, and I have to tell you, I love seeing them on Facebook, and that's where we get these, what would whoever on our team do? And I think it's important because we don't always know how to handle these situations right now. I think we do, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's a little bit more of a challenge than we expect it to be. So I am super excited to welcome our next guest. She is a first timer to the show. Please welcome Lorri Cohn, Vice President of Sales for Shore Excursion Group. Welcome, Lorri.
Hi there. Thank you so much for having me, Carolyn.
We're so excited you're here, and there are so many questions that I have for you, but I'm hoping that you will indulge me first in a little bit of a lightning round of questions so we can get to know you better.
Sure, I'd love to.
Now I got to find my lightning round questions. Here we go. All right. So these are real simple. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. Talking or texting?
Talking.
Favorite day of the week?
Friday.
Nickname your parents used to call you?
Lorch.
Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals?
Ooh, I might have to say languages. I like to travel, so languages.
I would say that too. How long does it take you to get ready?
30 minutes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at keeping secrets?
The best.
Favorite or first celebrity crush?
Oh my God, this is really going to age me. if I tell you Leaf Garrett,
Oh, yeah.
okay, so that really ages me.
Favorite junk food?
Chocolate, Hershey's Kisses.
Yes. Favorite childhood TV show?
Brady Bunch.
And cake or pie?
Brownies.
None of the above. Brownies. Yep. I would say cookies. Cookies.
Me
Oh,
too.
it's funny because I agreed with everything that you said, except for the nickname. Clearly, my parents didn't call me the same nickname, but yes.
Well, good. And that means we're going to be great friends when we do finally get to meet in person.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, we're so excited that you're here today. Let's talk a little bit about confidence. And that's something that's been shaken in this industry in the last almost 2 years. So why do you feel like advisors should feel confident in Shore Excursion Group as a tour operator we can do business with moving forward?
Yeah, it's a really important question, and I think the statement is clear. We are one of the only companies that over the last 18 months very, very proactively and automatically refunded every single client who was booked with us on a date that was canceled by a cruise line. We didn't wait for a phone call from an agent or from their customer saying our cruise was canceled. We knew it, we are aware of it, and we did the right thing. I mean, not heroic, we just did the right thing, and we were able to refund every single client automatically. I think that
Being
builds confidence.
Being proactive has been just, when we see that from suppliers from an agent's perspective, I just feel like a little bit of that weight is lifted off of our shoulders.
And to take that a couple of steps further, we really looked at our program and our policies, and we adjusted our cancellation policy so that we'd become more flexible. I know through the feedback I'm getting through our outreach, the agents are really appreciative of that flexibility. We now allow clients to cancel their excursions up until the day of sailing without penalty. And I think that leads to a lot of confidence, not only for the agent who is referring their valued clients to us, but for the client themselves who is making that purchase. They can rest comfortably knowing that if something were to happen and they wanted to cancel, they can do that for a full refund.
Awesome. So when it comes to current cruises, are we able to use you guys as a resource? I know there's been, information out there that says, no, you got to use what the cruise line has. So what are you hearing and what are you seeing?
So the information has really been quite fluid. It started out with originally you were only going to be permitted to disembark with the cruise lines. That was with the healthy sail panel when we were all just trying to get the ships back floating again. And that has really come around to allowing all clients who are vaccinated to disembark and have free will to do what they want in port, which I think is really important. I think that through some of those healthy sail panel questionnaires, it made it very clear that clients wanted the autonomy to be able to disembark and do their own thing and not be restricted to only the cruise lines tour. So I think it's really the clients that have spoken loudly about that, and we are able to accommodate it.
Have you seen some of your tour operators in different destinations where they haven't quite come back to business yet? I mean, we saw a lot of folks leave the industry because they had families to take care of. They had to go find something else to do. Are you starting to see those tour operators come back? That's one of the things I've always loved is you really get someone that's so local.
It's funny that you say that, because our operators, our vendors are really like family to us. We are probably responsible for creating the livelihoods for some of our suppliers in remote places around the world. We all have a cruise industry background in our company, probably 200 years combined. And the gals and the team that works on building our tours has, intimate relationships with these people around the globe. They've worked with them for decades, and to see what has happened to our industry, and it's not only us and our agents here in the Americas, but it's the tour providers and around the world that have been so impacted by this. And I'm so grateful that most of them are still standing, and we're able to work with people like you guys and to be able to feed the business back to them and bring that livelihood back. It's critical to be able to keep our world in that visiting, that ability to kind of go and see and do and meet that we all love, that why we do what we do. So I'm grateful that our operators are still there, and there might be some that aren't. And like you said, how many of our agent friends have either consolidated and joined up forces with somebody else? Glad that they're still there, though, in most cases, and delivering excellent experiences.
So we have had an influx of people come into the industry. So for those that are new agents on this live session, those that are going to watch on YouTube, and those that will eventually listen to the podcast, why would you what would you say to a new agent that's wondering, why should I use a third-party excursion group versus going to the cruise line?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. And first of all, I just want to comment that folks that are coming into the industry now really are smart, because they're getting into the part where people are realizing how critical having a qualified and an educated advisor, counselor, assisting them with their vacation. So it's really the perfect time to get into this space. But with us specifically, we're offering a higher quality tour. It's a smaller group. It's a more intimate experience. It's saving the clients money. Have you ever stood online on board a ship at the Shore Excursion desk? It's a mess. Why even bother putting your clients through that? They can be having their first cocktails or having drinks. They can book with us, save time, save money, smaller, more intimate experience. And of course, we pay our agents at KHM 13% commission, which is kind of huge compared to whatever anyone else might or might not be paying on shore excursions.
So it's funny, Lorri, because I don't love lines. I don't love crowds. So anything that's got a big bus, kind of, the anxiety kicks in. And I have found a lot of times especially on some of the smaller islands, if I do something independent or with a company like Shore Excursion Group, I find myself at the destination before the big buses ever come in. And so you almost have this private experience before anyone else comes in. And that is what I love about it, is I like being with my family of 4, or if I'm traveling with my extended family, the 10 of us. It doesn't even matter if it's just a drive. I like just knowing that I'm in someone's hands and I'm not waiting on anyone else.
You're absolutely right. And with our tours, we have the best guarantees. If you book a tour, it's guaranteed to depart. We don't cancel for a lack of participation. So it might be, let's say, only your family of 4 booked. You end up with a small group tour exclusively for your family. We won't cancel that. So some great guarantees there as well, especially the return to ship guarantee that pays your clients in the unlikely event it would ever to happen.
Right, right. So since it's National Hobbit Day, does Shore Excursion Group have anything fun for those that are cruising New Zealand, Australia, that area? Do they have something fun that they could book?
So as soon as I heard you talking about that, I went online very quickly and I searched the Hobbit, and sure enough, we found a tour that's available. We call it a full day of the Lord of the Rings, and it's in Wellington. So it's a perfect tour for today's event.
I love it. And I don't know about you, but I've seen some, it's like Hobbiton, and you're like, what does that mean? But I'm picturing just rolling green hills, and I don't know if there's little houses in there or what, but to me, it sounds like a lot of fun.
It sounds, reading the description, which I won't bore you with here, but it's easily found on our website through a search bar. You just search Hobbit and it'll come up. But it sounds like a lot of fun. I think a wide array of clients might be interested in that, from little to big.
Yes, yes. Well, Lorri, thank you so much for being here. And those of you that are KHM agents, be sure to look in our agent portal under the supplier list so you can find out how to sign up with so that Shore Excursion Group is part of your regular list of suppliers that you look to. So thank you so much. We look forward to having you on again in the future when things are really ramped up and our clients are excited to go. So thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to meeting everyone.
All right. Take care, Lorri. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right, you guys. Next up is one of our favorites. Matt Wahlgren's here from the education team here at KHM Travel Group for his segment, Matt's Compass, which is sponsored by our friends at Southwest Vacations and United Vacations, two of our favorite ALG brands. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Carolyn. How are you?
I'm good. All right, so you brought us a couple of fun hotels and some interesting things to do as we're exploring and celebrating National Hobbit Day. So where are these hotels?
Well, I picked a couple. I picked one on the North Island, and it's called Hookah Lodge. It's near Hookah Falls. It is also near a spa thermal park. So this is great for people who like relaxation, spa, be out there in the wild. If you do have clients who love to golf, there's an international golf course nearby as well. It's a small boutique property, just 25 rooms, but it's on a river. And so it's really nice because you get out there right there in nature. You got the relaxing sounds of the river going by you, and that is called Hookah Lodge. Now, whether or not you can smoke a hookah there, I don't know, but it looks like a really cool resort.
Awesome. And then on the other side.
Yeah, on South Island, I wanted to pick two different hotels in different parts, and the other one is South Island. It's called Icart's Private Hotel. Now, it's right in the heart of Queenstown, which is you definitely have to visit Queenstown if you're in New Zealand. It's just steps from Lake Wakatipu, and it has 14 guest rooms, so it's a small property. It does include a full breakfast every morning, and then if you have clients that are talking about getting married and want a different location, such as New Zealand, they do offer wedding services. Or if you have clients that are active and want to travel internationally to go skiing, they do offer a ski shuttle and ski storage on property. And it's a really unique property. Again, just 14 guest rooms, and that's called Icart's Private Hotel.
Awesome. Okay, so what fun things can we do while we're visiting New Zealand?
Okay, yeah, so for the fun things. So these are unique things to New Zealand that you must do. Now, the first one is wine tasting, if you love wine. Now, they're known for Cabernet Sauvignon as well as Pinot Noir. So those are the kind of wineries that you probably want to look out for if you like those varietals. Check them out. Now, Shore Excursion Group does offer wine tasting experiences in New Zealand, so check with them. Try and see if you can find or work with them to do maybe some of the smaller boutique wineries in addition to the larger ones, because some of the smaller ones are going to have wine that you can't get back home. And then you can take a couple bottles or ship a couple cases back home, invite your clients over and your friends, talk about your trip to New Zealand, and book more business.
Awesome. Okay, now this next one, the glowworm caves. I've looked at this before, and this was just fascinating to me.
Yeah, so it's not a 1980s toy. It's a real place, and glowworms apparently are a real thing. I didn't believe it when I first heard about it several years ago. I thought it was a toy. They're located in Te Anau, and what you do is you go sort of kayaking through these caves, and at night, well, it's dark in there, and so the caves just kind of light up with these worms that glow in the dark. So it's really different, really interesting. To date, I have never heard of another place that has something like this in the world. So this is something very unique to New Zealand.
Awesome. And then last but not least, you say do a cruise on the Doubtful Sound.
Yeah, you can do an overnight cruise, either 1 or 2 nights, up to you, depending on if you want to go all the way down or just do the short one, but you go through Doubtful Sound, and it's very scenic. There's going to be, mountain ranges on either side of you. There's wildlife that you can see. Oftentimes there's a naturalist guide on board that's going to point out the different wildlife that you can see. Oftentimes the ship is going to have water sport activities. So they'll have kayaks and different things. You can get out into the water and explore a little bit more. But this is definitely another very unique experience within New Zealand.
That's awesome. So there, a couple of agents have commented about Hookah Falls and Hookah River, jet boat riding down there. And there's also, I'm probably the Weta tour or the Weta tour, visiting some of the film locations from Avatar and Lord of the Rings. So that would be really fun.
Cool.
Yeah, very neat. Ah,
yeah.
Some fun things.
Shall we go? Do you want to go? Carolyn, can we go?
Yes.
Maybe a couple
Here's
weeks.
our
Let's go to New Zealand, huh?
Are they letting us in? They've been
I don't
pretty
think
locked
so.
down.
No, we'd have to sneak in somehow. I
Oh
don't think
my
they're letting us in yet, but I want to go.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your thoughts for our Matt's Compass this week. Do you want to stick around as we make a cocktail?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now we should say, for those of you that have written questions in for Lorri, don't worry, I will get answers for you on those. And I do want to mention one of our wonderful agents that's on today, Vicki Lamb McFall. So when we were at the ASTA conference, there was someone there at the trade show. Matt, I'll have to send you have to look this up. So it's called Ancient Lore Village, and it's in Knoxville, Tennessee. And it totally is like Hobbit Town, thatched roofs. It's crazy, and it's all kind of, it's a gentleman who read a book and just kind of decided to create this experience that is like no TVs and gives you the ability to disconnect. They do serve wine. I did ask that question. But the whole general premise of it and just the aesthetics of it it's crazy. So take a look at it. It's called Ancient Lore Village in Knoxville. So
Sounds
it's
amazing.
Probably a great place for a girls getaway, or I don't know. It looked like fun. So, but for those of you that had questions for Lorri, don't worry, I will get those to her. All right. So our KHM at Home segment is sponsored by Celebrity Cruise Line, and they sail beyond your borders and expand your horizons. So, and they are expanding our horizons with this cocktail called Gandolf Grog. Okay, so I don't know. This is a little scary to me, but we have and I wish I had my bar set up. Here's our glass. All right, so we're starting with 2 ounces of dark rum, and I'm using Whalers today. So here we go. Here's our rum.
That's a big glass.
Huh?
That's a big glass.
My mixer. That's not my glass.
Oh, okay.
And then we've got 1/2 ounce of lime juice. Here we go. And then we're going to put in a tablespoon of brown sugar. This is where it gets crazy, you guys. And my brown sugar's a little old, so that's why it's so clumpy. And okay, so now here's the weird part. We're going to put a cup of boiling water in. So this is where it's going to be. Hopefully this doesn't burn my hand. So I want to pull it back from my computer. I don't even know that a cup will hold in here. There we go. All right, then we need to stir it. Not with my little stir, so that the sugar dissolves. Now here's the weird part, you guys. Can you see that? Here's the weird part. Now the recipe does not tell me if you pour it over ice or what. This looks pretty steamy hot. And so I don't know, like if it's supposed to be a hot drink or a cold drink, but we're gonna pour it in a highball because I just think that is what you should do. And then you garnish it with a little cinnamon stick and an orange peel. And I didn't have an orange peel, so we're just gonna do that with the cinnamon stick. So, which drops in the glass. But here we go. All right, but do you see the steam? It's like rising off. I'm afraid to drink it, but
it sounds like a good holiday drink, when it's kind of cold outside.
Yeah, but the recipe wasn't very particular on what kind of glass you put it in or everything. So it almost feels like tea. I should maybe have it in a mug.
Yeah, maybe a mug. I know grog in general is usually warm.
Well, I'm pleasantly surprised by this. It's very good. It's probably one of the best ones I've made on this show. Whew.
Sounds good.
That is good, but wrong glass, guys. It's a mug. You're right. It's a mug drink. Okay, so there you have it. Robbie, our producer, has put the recipe in there, and it will be on the KHM Today website as well. Wow, whew, a little tipsy there. That's a lot of rum for a small glass. All right, so we thank everyone for being here today. Thank you, Apple Leisure Group for being our show sponsor, and all of our segment sponsors today: Disney Destinations, Southwest Vacations, United Vacations, Regent Seven Seas, and Celebrity Cruise Line. Next week, you guys, we have the Curacao Tourism Board here with us, which is really going to be interesting. I know virtually nothing about that beautiful island, so be sure to tune in. Matt, so great to see you. You're going to be back with a little bit of a recap for us. You're going on the Disney Dream this weekend, so you're going to come back the first week of October and share that experience with us. So we will see you then.
It's my first, it's my first Disney cruise. It's actually my first immersive Disney experience since I was a kid in the 80s and went to Disneyland. And it's also my first cruise since the pandemic. So I'm really excited to see what it's like, what the procedures are, and how everything goes. So I'm happy to report back.
Awesome. Well, we thank everyone for being here. Thank you, Matt. You guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.